Hello everyone, today I'll be doing a guide on Champion, a builder inside the StarCraft 2 arcade Kerrigan Survival 2. This guide will pretty much cover everything you know about Champion for mastering the class. It'll be a pretty long guide because I'm going to be going through the entire replay, as well as pausing sometimes to explain what I'm doing and all my thought process. This game here is a pre-made I played a few days ago on EU server. This is a very high-level game, but the stuff I'll cover in this video will also be applicable to pubs, and I'll definitely say what I do differently, what I would do differently inside a pub compared to a pre-made game. So let's get started. First, I can introduce a little bit about what Champion does and what you're good at. So Champion, in my opinion, is currently probably an A-tier character. There are definitely stronger characters. Champion cannot compete with stuff like maybe Rattlesnake or Artanis and stuff like that. However, I think he's a very solid pick. You're very versatile, first of all. You can do a lot of things. You can base very well with Stone Avatars. You can push very well with Tatooines and your hero. You have map presence during the entire game. And you can also split push well with Centurions or Talus during the entire game. You have also very high survivability. You are one of the more unkillable characters, in my opinion, in the entire game. As long as you know what you're doing and you are not super behind. And yeah, I think, however, I think Champion is one of the harder characters to play and is very ping reliant. If you're on higher ping, I think Champion loses a lot of its value because you're not able to micro nearly as well. And this replay is only going to feature my playstyle for Champion. There are still other playstyles for Champion by other good players out there. And I'll just look at my Champion win rate. I've played around 350 games of Champion. I'm currently at a 65% win rate. I think I'm currently, 500 MMR above every other Champion player in the code base. And it was a character that I played from Plat to Masters, so I have quite amount of experience on this character. Let's get started. Okay, so look at the game. I'm not going to analyze the comp too much. I'm just going to first pause and look at the map. So the first thing you want to start in every game is look at where you want to eco. That is the number one thing. So for Champion, your eco is going to be 2x2 structures, and ideally you want to wall it off so links don't come to it. So on this map, where I like to eco are big areas, so I can place it down a lot of eco, and also wall it with a 4x2 choke, or a 4-hex choke with 2 barracks, or whatever it's called, to get gateways. So here's a good idea. Here's a pretty good area. Here is a pretty good area because I'm going to wall here. There might be areas on here. For example, this is a pretty good area. These are the areas I'd like to go for the most. Now, if these areas are not available on a map, the next best is corridors. These will be on every map. So, for example, this one here, I can wall up here and put some eco down here. However, the problem with these is that the area is pretty small. So once you put like 9 crystals down, you'll be strapped for area and you have to go somewhere else. And the third type of eco is a corridor with open-ended corridors. For example, here, this one. Some people like to eco in these. However, the issue with ecoing in corridors like these is you have to wall 2 sides. And that makes it significantly more risky and way more likely that the link will hit your wall and you're going to have to salvage, which I don't like. So I would always prioritize these types of ecos. Alright, let's keep playing. So in this game, I decided to go down. As long as you guys have a decent split on the entire map, I think that's generally ideal, but it doesn't matter too much. So here I decided to go bottom side. There's not too many people bottom side, I think. It's profit with me. So I'm just going to go down and place my eco. So the first 2 buildings you'll build every single game should be a gateway and a shard. There's people who like to start 2 shards. However, in my opinion, that is bad and almost always worse than starting with a gateway and a shard. The reason is you want to get your Centurion out as early as possible. The number 1 resource for Champion is always experience. If you get level 8 on Champion, you're able to do a lot even with very limited amounts of money. Your hero is your carry. And the next most important resource is gas, because with gas you can boost your eco by up to 50%. Here I made 2 probes by accident. That's just a mistake. Please do not make 2 probes. But even if you do, so you can make probes either out of your gateway or make one out of your hero and blink it into the wall. So with the early game, what you want to do is mostly just use your Centurion to farm gas, killing lings, and also build these small shards. So here, the first thing I'm going to talk about is a bit about Centurion Micro. So if we look at the Centurion unit, he has an interesting attack where he attacks twice like any Zealot. So one of the attacks, for example, let me attack a link here. It hits twice, and then pauses. And then it hits 1 more time again. So it takes 3 attacks or 1.5 attacks, depending on how you say it, to kill a link. So how you can abuse this is that when you only need 3 attacks to kill a link, For example, here I attack the Ling, I back up and attack it again. The Ling only hits me once. However, if I stand still and attack the Ling is able to hit me twice. This is because the first attack on your 2 attacks in your blade goes off before the Ling attacks you, and the second attack goes off after the Ling hits you. So you can trade one auto attack with the Ling, step back, and then use your second attacks, the first part of your second attack, to kill the Ling. That way you only take 1 hit from the Ling while killing the Ling for 1 gas. That is the best way to use Centurion to kill Lings early. And I think it is quite important to make sure your Centurion stays healthy and farm as much gas as you can. Now, if you're fighting a single Ling, this doesn't matter as much because you're taking 1 hit or 2 hits. It's a very small difference, but it will add up. But especially when you're fighting multiple Lings, you want to always kite back when you're fighting Lings, and doing that saves a lot of HP. The reason I want to save HP is because they can obviously kill your Centurion, and that's quite a big investment early game. I'm going to talk briefly about the survivability of your early game. Against stuff that's not the Haka, you can generally just dash away and they cannot catch up to you. If you just either dash away when the hunter is coming for your Centurion, they will not kill you at all. If it is a Dahaka, however, they can run in front of you with Cloak and spawn Lings. What you want to do in that scenario is, once the Dahaka gets in front of you with spawn Lings, you want to go suddenly backwards and click dash once or twice. And repeat that a few times and make it hard for the Dahaka to kill your Centurion. Now, if the Dahaka is really insisting on killing your Centurion, he will do it no matter what. So in that case, you'll just have to build a second one. The reason that's bad is because it takes 75 more minerals, and it takes quite a bit of time, so you can't be farming during that time. So yeah. However, it's generally not worth it for the Dahaka to chase your Centurion, because he only gets 75 gas. Once your Centurion dies, you can just exit out and run away. Your soul in the early game is unkillable. You're way faster than any Lings or any hero, even with Cloak. So you can just run away. So here I'm just farming Lings, and while I'm farming Lings, back at home, I'm going to be building shards. So I'm going to talk about the eco briefly here. You have 2 types of eco here. Let me go back. So these are the small ecos. These shards plus 2, which is plus 2 minerals every 4 seconds. These cost 100 minerals. And can be chronoed for 1 gas. And chrono always does 50% on every single champion eco. The next tier of eco is 400 minerals and 3 gas for plus 10. So basically 400 minerals or plus 3 gas equals 5 of these 100 minerals ones. And you can chrono that one for 5 gas. So 5 of these would be exactly 500 minerals, and one of those would be 400 minerals plus 3 gas. So it is slightly more mineral efficient, but costs gas. However, that mineral efficiency is what you're going for, because your Centurion is going to be killing a lot of gas early, and you should never run out of gas early on champion. So once you stop making the plus 2s, you want to generally only make the plus 10s once the mid game starts, because they're space efficient and they're mineral efficient. That's the 2 things you want to go for. The reason I'm making these small shards early on is because I want to have a smoother curve of my mineral income. If I make 2 and then save up for 400, I'll be losing a lot of downtime where my minerals are not doing anything. So once I usually make 5 to 7 of these small shards before I go into the bigger shards. Now this is for a bigger area. The benefit to a bigger area is you can make a lot of these small shards and not take up space. If I was ecoing right here, these shards would take a lot of space, and I only have like 5 or 4 spaces for my bigger shard, for my shards plus 10, which is not great. So when I'm ecoing in a space like this, I might consider building 2 shards, not chronoing them, and once I'm at 220 minerals, I salvage both to make a plus 4 instantly. That is something I do sometimes. However, I do prefer making many amounts of small shards first, chronoing them so they stay valuable, and then start making big shards. Another benefit to this is that if the hunter comes with a Ling Ball or the hero comes, the first thing that they kill is a small shards. These are basically walls for your better eco behind. These are slightly less tanky, but they were way more HP per mineral cost, so you don't really care if they die. The ones you care about dying are the big ones behind. Okay, let's keep playing. So during the early game, you're mostly just using your Centaur to farm. Not too much is happening. Here I make, I think, around 7 of the smaller shards before I go into the bigger shards. Here I'm always kiting back. Always make sure to kite back as much as you can, especially when you're hitting multiple Lings, to not lose too much HP. Yep, so after 1 auto attack, I kite back and then auto once more. Generally, I usually fight 3 Lings is the maximum amount of Lings I would fight at once. Otherwise, you take too much damage, and that is generally pretty bad. So always kite back. There I mess up a little bit, but it doesn't really matter too much if you're fighting 1 Ling, because it's a difference between 1 auto attack and 2 auto attacks. Okay. So now that I'm at +7, the next 400 minerals, I'm gonna go back home and make a crystal +10 coming up here. Yep. So here, there's a pretty good vision ward here. I spot a Ling Ball near my eco. I know this Ling Ball is probably attacked towards my eco, but he didn't attack it very well, so it's like bouncing off because of the wall. So here I immediately head back and I want to defend against this Ling Ball. On Champion, having to salvage is really bad because all the minerals you wasted on chronoing is completely wasted. So you want, and your early hero is pretty strong against Lings. So you want to beat as many Ling Balls as you can and defend your eco as long as you can and force the hunter to come to your eco as your goal. So here I see a lot of Lings near me. And I run back with my hero to try to defend it. So the next unit I'm going to talk about is the Talus. The Talus is a pretty strong unit in the early game, and a unit you'll probably be in for from the 7-minute mark or 5-minute mark to maybe 12 or 13-minute mark of every game. This unit is very good at killing Lings. You 2-shot Lings with very fast attack speed, and it's quite expensive actually, 250 minerals and 2 gas. So here I get the Talus early because I know the Ling Ball is going to come for my eco, and I use the Talus to clean up this entire Ling Ball. Generally, I would not make the Talus this early. This is quite early. This is 5:30. If I'm untouched, I generally wait for maybe +15 at least to make the Talus because I'm quite greedy. If you're worse at Centurion Micro and you're scared you will die in a Centurion or you cannot farm that many Lings in a Centurion, getting a Talus earlier is fine because you're getting more gas and you're way safer and you get more experience. I think that is completely fine. Anytime you have the equivalent of 3 or more Crystal +10s, Chronoed, I think is a good time, or maybe even 2, you could get a Talus. However, a Talus is 250 minerals and 2 gas, so it's pretty much 2/3 of a Crystal +10, so it is quite expensive. This game I got it early just because of Ling Ball, and it paid off because I have a lot of experience and a lot of gas that I can work with, and I can keep going from here. Okay. I made an extra Centurion to tank, which is fine, and I re-walled my eco because these Hall of Heroes are quite tanky, way more tankier than, similar tankiness to the Crystal, and tankier than the Shard +2. So I put down 2 more walls, and now I can go back to farm with my hero in the Talus. So your game plan from around 5 minutes or 6 minutes on for the rest of the game, you're pretty much just making these Charge +10s. You're making Crystal +10s while farming stuff with your hero and while watching your eco. That's the 3 most important things you're doing. So looking at this eco here, if the enemy hunter hero comes with or a Ling Ball comes, the first line of defense is a Centurion, and the second line of defense is my Hall of Heroes. The third line of defense is my Shard +2, and in the center of the base is a Shard +10. So, as long as I'm reacting correctly, it is very rare that my eco will get wiped. And I think that is the most important thing for most classes in KS2 is to not lose your eco, because that is your way to impact the game. Okay, I'm gonna look back to my camera. You can just keep farming Lings. Using the Talus. The Talus gets stronger at level 3 because you get the stim pack ability. This increases the ability to kill Lings way easier, and makes your Talus way stronger early. Now, if the hunter comes to chase you, you can just shade away and make sure your Talus doesn't die. Because losing your Talus in the early game is extremely painful. Losing the Centurion is not that bad, but losing a Talus is like losing a Shard. That is quite bad, so you never want to lose your Talus in the early game. If you make it, make sure it stays alive for as long as you can. And we're going to be sitting in this Talus until level 4, because level 4 is when we switch into Tautarine, because we unlock the ability on the Tautarine. Okay, so here I'm just making more crystals while my Talus is killing stuff. Not too much is happening until here. Now here I see a big Ling Ball coming towards my eco. Because he did the Ling Ball early on my eco and he didn't get it. He knows my eco is still there. So he sent another Ling Ball to my eco. Now, seeing this is actually a blessing for a champion, because your Talus is really strong at killing Ling Balls early in the game, and this gives you a lot of gas and a lot of experience that you do need a lot. So here, I slowly chip away at the Ling Ball, and I use my Shade ability to attack it while my Adept Shading back also uses Stim Pack ability, because it lasts quite a bit, 15 seconds. And I made 2 more Centurions. When you're holding Ling Balls in the early game, your Talus with your hero inside is your DPS, and your Centurions are your tank. These are 75 minerals for 200 HP with no armor. That is quite a lot of tankiness for 75 minerals. And your Talus 2-shots Lings. So with my Talus behind is my Centurion tanking, and there's some even Artanis Adepts here. I easily clean up this Ling Ball and I get a lot of gas to keep ecoing, which is very nice. Now in a pub, if other people in a pub are not doing as much and not attracting the attention of the hunter might come directly for you, and that is quite bad. But defending your eco from ling balls is still most important. If it was a pub, I might start thinking of another eco location to start getting eco down because I know the hunter's gonna come. However, in a pre-made setting like this, where everyone is playing very well, I know that the hunter has other things to do and maybe can't come to my eco yet. So I'm fine with greeting here and staying here and holding my eco until the hunter is forced to come to my eco. This game I'm pretty untouched. I have 8 minutes. I have pretty much a lot of gas, unlimited gas. And because of that Ling Ball, I'm able to chrono more shards, more crystals. So the way I go about with chronos is you want to chrono as much crystals as you can without going to a scenario where you have minerals and has no gas to build an extra crystal. Your priority is always to build another crystal over chronoing a previous crystal because first of all, chrono only gives 50%, and second of all, chronoing, the gas cost from chronoing is not salvaged when you salvage a building. So if the hunter comes and I have to salvage, the chrono cost is gone forever. So it's a temporary gas for mineral trade. But if I build a building with gas income, I can salvage it and get the gas back. So generally, you want to try to chrono as little as possible, or as much as possible without losing the ability to make crystals plus tins, if that makes sense. Okay. Now that I dealt with the Ling Ball, I can keep going back to farming. I'm almost level 4, which is very nice. I'm quite ahead this game, mostly because the Lurk sent me 2 big Ling Balls. That is generally a mistake against Champion, because if Champion can defend the Ling Balls, he gets quite ahead. Okay, I'm going to keep looking. I just keep making crystal plus tins at home. There's not much you have to do. Some other Champion players might start doing, for example, map control here with Talus for Centurions. In my opinion, it's fine to just keep making more eco. And yeah. So starting from this point, I might start thinking about getting upgrades. I'll speak more on that once I get a Cybernetics core, which I should be doing soon. Usually I get upgrades when I'm between plus 20 to plus 40, around this range. This game I was pretty untouched, so I'm able to get away with it. It's also dependent on how far the game has progressed. For example, the later the game goes, the faster I'll need to make my upgrade building. So here I made my upgrade building, and I should be getting the +1 armor, yes. I'm going to go over the upgrade tab briefly. The first upgrade you should get on Champion almost every single game is the +1 armor upgrade, and never the +1 attack upgrade. In my opinion, armor upgrade is almost always better than attack upgrades on Champion for this reason. When your soul goes into a unit and buffs it, you give it quite a bit of damage. You give it 12.6 damage based on the strengths you have. However, when you get an attack upgrade, combined with the bonus damage from your hero, the damage actually doesn't increase that much. So the value for your hero unit, the value of an attack upgrade for the unit your hero is inside of is pretty low. However, the armor is the same. You get 5 armor, which reduces each ling hit by 5 damage, which is a lot more important. Now, for a regular unit, in my opinion, the attack damage upgrade and the armor upgrade both are pretty similar. But because most of your DPS in the early game, and honestly majority of the game, is your hero unit, the attack upgrade loses a lot of value compared to the armor upgrade. Okay. So the upgrade I get every game is the armor upgrade. So here I see the hunter coming. My Centurions to tank, and I just farm here as my Talus. Because he's not going to come from a Talus. This is pretty much unkillable early. I can just run away. He can't do much about it. Okay. So now that my eco is wiped, I'm just thinking about getting a second eco. In this game, because it is a pre-made, I know he has to go to other places and deal with other people. Oh, here he unfortunately fungos my Talus, so I die. But I wasted a lot of time by making him chase me back here. So I'm honestly fine with that. I do lose a bit of time and I do lose a bit of farm, but I have Centurion still on the map that I sent out earlier to patrol. So I can go into Centurion and kill links here. Something I like to do a lot on Champion, or on all classes, I like to eco in the same spot, because if the hunter just came to your spot, in theoretically, they have to go to other places because your teammates are on the other space on the map. If they have to come back to the same spot that they just patrolled, it is the most inefficient use of the hunter's time. So I think eco in the same spot, although they might suspect it and they might know that you might be ecoing in the same spot, it is worth it. So here I just go back and make the crystals again. I'll make a probe to do it for me. Yeah. I'm also level 4 here. So I'm just farming the few lings that comes to me. After the early game, I don't ever make +2 shards anymore. They just take away too much space and they're not mineral efficient. So I only make these +10 crystals. And the other thing you have to worry about is the artifact. So these artifacts, when you compare it to the crystal, this is 400 for +10. This is 1250 for +25. So this is the 25 is quite a bit more, or quite a bit less mineral efficient than the crystal, while being at the same gas efficiency if you chrono it. If you chrono both, the artifact is at the same gas efficiency. If you don't chrono them, the artifact is just worse in both mineral and gas efficiency. So as long as you have the space, you should be making as many crystals as possible. The only time I want to make the artifact, which is a +25, is when I'm forced to eco in a smaller space and I have a lot of minerals I want to spend. For example, here. Well, let's say we base here and there's only a little bit of area here. I will make the artifacts. So you mostly still want to focus on the crystals. Okay. So now that I'm level 4, I make a Tal'Darim. This is the third unit it will make every game. In most games, I make one Centurion, make one Talus, and after I make that one Talus, I might make more Centurions to help me defend against stuff or patrol the map for extra gas if I need extra gas. And the third unit is always a Centurion. Okay. Here the Centurion actually accidentally spawned inside, which is fine. I'm just using it to kill some lings. Oh, the guard's actually here. It's kind of quite scary. So the reason you go for the Tal'Darim after you hit level 4 is because of the shield ability. The Tal'Darim is actually a really slow unit. You move slower than lings. However, with the shield ability, which gives you 1,000 shield and 10 shield armor, you're pretty much unkillable during those 15 seconds. At this point in the game, lings do exactly 15 damage. So with the 10 shield armor, lings do almost no damage to my shield, and I'm basically unkillable. Even if I'm deep in creep, I can just turn on the shield and walk out for free. So once you have this ability, your Tal'Darim and your hero is pretty much unkillable. Unless the hunter wastes a lot of time on you. Now, you are slower than Talus, so the hunter can chase you down. But the Tal'Darim is a very good unit. Once you get level 4, they one-shot lings, and they one-shot creep tumors. And they allow you to push the creep starting from that point on. Okay. So, I'm going to keep playing. So here, the Zagara's here. I'm going to lose my eco, obviously, so I just salvage it. In most games, the Zagara the creep will not be nearly this far. At 12 minutes. This is just because we're in a pre-made and this is one of the best Zergs players in the entire game. So I'm forced to run away here and make a new eco. So this is actually quite bad because I just put this eco down and I'm already forced to move. The worst time for champion is when you are not able to have any eco down the map and all my money is just sitting here doing nothing. In the game Cast 2, you want to be using your money to make more money as often as possible. And in this case, I just see a teammate has already walled off something here and he's not using the space. So I just share it with him, which is very nice, while I find a spot for a eco I can defend. Okay. So I keep walking my Tal'Darim. My teammate has pretty good map control this game, so I'm not too pressured with pushing creep. But here, since I have the eco down already, I'm going with my Tal'Darim onto creep. So with my Tal'Darim onto creep, I'm not scared of anything pretty much. Even if the guard TPs on me, once I click the shield ability, I can just walk out. However, do you know that the shield ability and the Stim Pack ability on Talus cost 2 gas? So make sure you have you have enough gas to use the abilities. But they're almost always worth it for the gas cost. So he scans my eco here, but I know he's probably busy with other stuff. So he's not gonna come. So here he comes, I just activate the shield ability. Even though he slows me, he can't really kill me at all, and just walk out for free. And this shield ability also works as a regeneration ability. Let's say you have 0 shield, and you use this for 1,000 shield. You would then be at 1,000 out of 1,316 shield. At the end of the duration, the game only subtracts 1,000 from the maximum shield. So whatever, like, let's say I walk out with 788, I would now have 316 shield. So I would go from 0 shield to full shield after using an ability for 2 gas, which is sometimes worth it. So here he TPs here to kill my eco, so I just have to salvage, unfortunately. So I try to move to here, a corner. Now, in a pub, this would probably not be a great eco spot, but since this is a pre-made, going here wastes him a lot of time. Going to the corner is the furthest place for him to go. So I'm fine with ecoing here. But this is a 2 entrance base with not a lot of places to wall. So in general, I don't recommend ecoing here. But in this game specifically, I just want to get eco down as soon as possible in a decent spot. Yeah, and every time I make eco, I make sure to wall both entrances with Hall of Heroes and make Centurions. The reason is as long as you have Centurions, they have to 8-click the building specifically. They can't just 8-click the ground. Let's say I have no units nearby, they can just 8-click the ground and the Lings will automatically attack the crystals. But if I do have the Centurions here, they will automatically aggro onto the Centurions and they cannot attack my eco. So always make sure you have Centurions near every single eco so that they do not get completely wiped. That is one piece of advice I'll give. And also I should probably wall the left here also to make sure that if he comes I can salvage safely. These walls are very cheap compared to losing your eco. So always wall your eco is probably good advice. Okay. So now that I have eco set up and I can defend with Centurions and my teammates have tough defenses here, I can now go back into mid with my Tal'Darim. Now you can see the only upgrade I've gotten so far in this game is the +1 armor. That is the thing I recommend for most games. +1 armor is the upgrade you're going to be sitting out for the majority of the game because first it increases your survivability. See right there when there's a guard TP'd on me and small links, the 5 armor makes me quite a bit tankier. Combine the shield upgrade, it makes me pretty unkillable. So that's the only upgrade I need. One attack doesn't actually do anything for me. It doesn't make me take more. It doesn't make me take less attacks to kill a link. It doesn't make me take less attacks to kill a creep tumor, and it barely gives more damage than for the Tal'Darim. I'm pretty sure if I got +1 attack here, I would only have like 30 or 40 more attack, which is very minimal. Whereas the armor upgrade gives me a lot more effective HP because lings take a lot of hits to kill me. Okay. So I just keep Ukoing here at home while I farm. So champion, unlike most classes, the mineral count is not the only thing that you care about. You also care about a lot about XP. So far in this game, while I've killed all the Ling Balls, while I've been fighting with Agara, I've gained XP, which is something that is very important for you, and can sometimes be more important than minerals. That is because when you hit level 8, your hero becomes a lot stronger. And on the Tal'Darim and the Taos heroes, because you unlock this ability, Engine Overload, which costs 5 gas, but gives you 500% bonus damage, which is a lot of damage. Once you get level 8, you're now able to kill and deal meaningful damage to the enemy hunters, and that is your way to end the game. So hitting level 8 is a very powerful power spike on champion, and that is the #1 thing you want to go for, and more important than probably any single upgrade for champion in the entire game. Okay. So here I just keep ecoing my corner. I'm making sure to use every single gas I can, and whenever I'm running out of gas, I'm making sure to put my Tal'Darim onto creep to farm more gas. Here I'm waiting a bit because my shield cooldown is off cooldown, and if I go on creep without my shield up, he might TP on me and actually kill me. So that's kind of dangerous. I think there's a link here or something. It probably got killed. Okay, yeah. So just keep pushing creep. You are allowed to go quite deep into creep with your Tal'Darim because of the shield ability. And even if the Tal'Darim dies, you can exit at the last second and use your soul and blink away. Your soul pretty much gives you 2 lives on every single unit. So you're almost never scared of dying, even going pretty deep into creep. Yep. So now the Kerrigan comes to my eco again. I'm going to salvage now. And now I have to find a spot for a new eco. So at this point in the game, I had +50. I have only 10k. In most games, this would not be a lot, and especially in a pub, this probably is not enough to solo carry a game. Now, in a game like this, in a pre-made, where my teammates are all doing useful stuff, my usefulness now is to abuse my soul and the abilities of my individual units to go pressure the defender or the hunter, which doesn't actually require a lot of minerals. So here, I'll show you what I'm going to do next. So after he finds this eco, also I got +1 melee attack or +1 attack because it's very cheap. At this point in the game, it's only 500 minerals, so I would probably get it at this point in the game. But the early emphasis was just to delay it as much as you can because it doesn't really do much. Yeah. So I forgot what I do here. I think I might go back here and eco here again, using principle earlier. I said, like, if they're forced to go back to the same spot, like if Kerrigan comes here and then 2 minutes later she's forced to come back here, she's wasting a lot of time because all this space is not being covered by her. So I'm pretty sure I just go back and eco in the same spot. Here I actually make a artifact because the artifact is a necessary building for you to make the League of Legends. Funny name, but this is the building that you need to make your stone avatar and Kador. Okay, so I'm finished on my eco, make as much eco as I can. I'm actually pretty ahead here. If this is all chronoed, I think I'm probably at like +80 or something. That's really nice, or almost +100, because chrono actually gives a lot. However, I'm not going to be using all my gas to chrono. So I think only here I chrono about a bit of them, but I save 30 gas because your most gas expensive things are first building the Caldor or building units. So your production buildings, your Council of Champions just makes it Tal'Darim costs 5 gas, and the Tal'Darim costs another 3 gas. So making one Tal'Darim costs 750 minerals and 8 gas, which is quite expensive. And making a single Caldor costs 1,000 minerals here, 15 gas, plus another 2,000 minerals and 10 gas. So a single Caldor, let's say you're not using this production building again, is quite expensive. 3,000 minerals and 25 gas. However, I'll show you why that is very worth it for champion. Okay, so here I set my eco again. I can leave again, try to pressure creep again. You want to be on the map. You want to be on creep as much as you can, because you're getting XP and you're gaining pressure. And it's very discouraging for a Zerg to see your Tal'Darim on the creep because he actually can't really kill you. Even if he TPs on top of you and makes units, he's just feeding you more, and you just click your shield ability and run off creep, and he just wastes time. So yeah, this is especially effective when multiple teammates are also pushing creep, because he has less attention to deal with me. Okay.
Upgrade complete.
So here I get the agility upgrade. On champion, you have 3 upgrades for your hero. So when I click on my hero, I have 3 stat points. The strength, agility, and intelligence. Your strength gives increased health, shields, and weapon damage. Your agility gives attack speed, movement speed, and sight radius. Intelligence, which gives energy regeneration, and spell damage. The one I usually get first is agility, because attack speed and movement speed are more important stats than health and shields and weapon damage. Your Tal'Darim already almost one-shots most units. I forgot what the exact number of attacks for a Roach is. But you already one-tap a lane, and you already kill these pretty fast. So I'd rather have more attack speed. I think it is more efficient, and the movement speed to help my hero survive. Yeah. But the agility upgrade and the strength upgrade are both very good upgrades. And the first upgrade I will always get is 1 armor. And after the next tier of upgrades, the next 4 upgrades I would generally go for is 1 attack, 2 armor, 10 strength, 10 agility, and 10 strength. Now, I will generally only get these upgrades once I'm plus 50 minerals or above per second. And because they buff my hero quite a bit. So, right now, I have this eco. One thing is that all these are not chronoed. So, if I am able to farm more gas with my hero by getting better upgrades for the hero, I'm also boosting my income. So, making units on champion can also be seen as a way to make money, because the more gas you farm with these champions, you're getting map pressure and also more gas to chrono your eco. But as earlier as stated, the downside is that you cannot salvage the chrono. But if your eco's not going to be touched for a bit, making units is effectively boosting your eco by farming gas. Okay. So here I'm just on creep with the Tal'Darim, be very annoying. And keep killing stuff. Killing these hatcheries give, I think, 5 or 10 gas, which is very good for you, and give a lot of experience. See, I'm stacking a lot of experience, and once I kill one of these, I should gain 80 experience, which is around 8 links. That's quite a lot of experience. Now, he scans my eco again. A lot of players, when they get their eco scan, they immediately salvage. However, never do that. Never immediately salvage. You want to force the hunter to go through your eco before you salvage. And especially for a class like champion, where you're able to defend your eco, and even if the hunter goes there and attacks your buildings, you have a lot of reaction time before you need to salvage. So let's say he comes here, my Centurions and my Tals are tanking, so he can't get to my eco, and I have an ample amount of time to salvage. So leave it up until he goes there. Okay. Alright, so he TPs on me again, I just click shield. Now he has 2 range attacks, so he actually deals quite a bit of damage to me, but it's still not enough to kill me, obviously. He doesn't have a slow up, but if he had slow up, I might have been forced to eject from my Tal'Darim. Okay, yeah, actually, I think I might die here. No, my Centurion comes in to help me. Okay, yeah, I'm fine. Well, I should have ran here into the Adepts. Okay. Anyways, on to the next step. Once you're at plus 60 or even plus 50 and above, in my opinion, the best unit for the entire champion arsenal is the Caldor. The reason is this Caldor unit, even on 1 armor and level 5, I have insane amounts of HP. I have 7,000 amount of HP, and once I get 2 armor, I'll probably get 1,000 more HP and 10 armor. For including the cost of production structure, because they're very expensive, 3,000 minerals and 25 gas. This is basically a Warden on 3/3 upgrades with more damage even. You're able to buy a support class on your hero while having eco and other units and other stuff going on. That is very broken in my opinion. At having this unit, you kill any amount of lings, any amount of roaches, and you can tank the enemy hero for a long time. Okay, so once I get this unit out, after the Tal'Darim in almost every game, as long as I'm rich enough, if I'm not like plus 30 or something, then I might consider staying on the Tal'Darim. But if I'm plus 50 and above, I'll try to invest in a Khaldor and try to pressure their mid. Because you're so tanky, you're able to run into their mid and snipe tech, which is very useful. And something I like to do a lot. So here, I got the Khaldor out. You want to place it in an area where it's not likely to get killed very fast, because these are quite expensive, and you want to replace more Khaldors as the game goes on. Okay, so he's sending some units to my eco, but luckily I defended it with my profit. Very nice here. And yeah. So here I got 2 armor upgrade. It was 2 armor upgrade. I'm quite a bit tankier at 8,000 effective HP and 10 armor. So now my Khaldor is almost unkillable. So I just run mid. Now Kerrigan's here, coming to kill my eco. I'm not sure where I'm going here. I think I should be going on to creep, but yeah. So I have to salvage here, unfortunately. He comes to my eco one time. And I go on creep and try to clear a bit of creatures. Here I was thinking of setting up another eco, because you always want to try to get eco down. Now in this specific game, my teammate has insane map control, and I know the Kerrigan cannot spend a lot of time coming for me in specific. So here I choose to do a pretty unorthodox eco spot. I do right here, which is some area that if your teammate does not have map control, will be checked a lot and will be killed by random lings. Also, a note here, Pega's quite strong, but my Khaldor still kills him pretty easily, although I do lose quite a bit of shield, so I lose a bit of tankiness. Now, Real Shima dies here, accidentally on creep, which is not very good, but my team still has quite a lot of bases on the map that Kerrigan is forced to go to. So my job right now in this game is to attack the defender with as much as I can and annoy as much as I can out of them. So as I was speaking earlier, due to the space constraints, I only made artifacts here. I make 4 artifacts and then make a few crystals because of the space constraints. Maybe I should have put the League of Legends more outwards to like act as a wall, and I could have made more crystals to be slightly more mineral efficient. But at this point in the game, how much eco I have doesn't matter as much as how much pressure I'm putting on with units. So instead of ecoing here at 22 minutes, I need to make an impact on the game. This is my time to do something in the game and not be useless. If I'm just full ecoing here, all my teammates going to be dead, and I'm going to be 1 versus Kerrigan, and that's not going to win. So at some point, you have to stop ecoing, and at that point on champion, usually it's at most plus 100. Once I'm at plus 100, I will stop ecoing generally in most like 90% of games and go for army and go for as much pressure as I can. Okay. Now in a pub game, where my teammates don't have much on the map, I might play for a base. If you're playing for a base, you want to generally invest in stone avatars in a base with multiple people. Now, if you're doing a solo base, mass Tal'Darim is the way to go, because Tal'Darims are only 500 minerals and 3 gas. They're pretty cheap for how good of a unit they are. They one-tap lings, which is something that is very important in a mini base, is killing lings, because lings are the easiest way to break any base. So one-tapping lings at pretty high attack speed makes Tal'Darim one of the best units to mini base with. So let's say it's 20 minutes and my team is almost all dead, but I have plus 100. I would go somewhere with a choke, ideally. Maybe like here, or maybe here is fine. It's not so good. But maybe somewhere like here, where I could put eco in the corner and then make a lot of Tal'Darims to hold. Yeah. But in a game like this in a pre-made where all my teammates are doing stuff, I make sure to make a Khaldor. Okay. Or even in a pub, where as long as some teammates are doing stuff, I would go for a Khaldor here, because Khaldor is very strong. I think Khaldor is something that you should try to go for almost in every single game. Okay. So here I make enough eco. Even though it looks like not a lot of eco, as long as I chrono off them, they're quite tanky. And I make another Khaldor here. This one I used to kill a lot of tier 2 units here. And I think of Khaldors as a way to buy HP. You're spending 2,000 minerals and 15 gas to buy HP. 1 second, let me take a drink. I'm kind of thirsty. Okay. So once I have this Khaldor out, I run it directly into mid. And this game, the enemy defender is a Gara, which is probably the worst hunter, or worst defender at killing a Khaldor. They have no damaging abilities. They have the lowest DPS. And if I just run mid, he can't do much. And his only way to deal with me is roaches. So here I start doing pressure mid with the Kaldur. Okay. Now, because your hero has detection, you're very good against lurkers. And now you can just start chopping down buildings. You can just run mid. He's attacking me, but it's not very high damage. Now, I see him attacking me here, and I have to actually run off creep because roaches do deal a bunch of damage, and he is a pretty good defender. However, against most defenders, you can just be in their face and attack their buildings, and they can't do much to you. Another annoying ability for the Dagara, for you to deal with on the Dagara, is a slow ability because they reduce your attack and movement speed by 50%. So that is something you have to be worried about. However, in this specific game, I know my teammates are all doing different pushes on the entire map. So if the Dagara is wasting time killing my Kaldur, he's losing a lot. So, however, in a game where I'm the only one pushing, a Kaldur might not be as good. But if the defender is bad, you'll still be effective. But here I'm wasting a lot of time. And during that, I'm making a second Kaldur. Here, I'm pretty much just pumping as many Kaldurs as I can to chain the Kaldurs and chain as an HP soak sponge for the defender to deal with, which he cannot do. So here, I'm just using this to kill Lings. As I'm about to run out of HP, I swap into the new one. You're pretty safe when you swap because the units are going to be aggroed onto the attacking units, which is your units. And your hero is not an attacking unit, so unless they click on your hero very fast, which is very hard to do because your hero is very small, they're not going to kill you during the swap. So you can swap pretty aggressively inside army. Like, even if you're inside a big army, you can just get out of your unit and swap, and you shouldn't be at any danger. Another upgrade I got here was the, I forgot to show it, but it's the Kaldur attack speed upgrade. It is only 1,500 minerals and 15 gas, which is pretty cheap. And you actually gain quite a bit of attack speed, I think like 20% or 30%. So if you're going for this Kaldur playstyle, I generally recommend always going for it. Okay. So here he had made a lot of units, so I run back and fight it with both my Kaldurs. I also make a stone avatar because this does AoE damage. So just stand on top of the choke and start fighting it. This is quite a bit of roaches. But the Kaldurs are quite tanky, so they'll eventually be able to deal with all of this. Once I get the stone avatar out, this is the last unit that the champion has. You only have 5 units. Or, yeah, 5 units. Centurion, Talus, Talarian, Kaldur, and Stone Avatar. I've already covered all of the other ones. So let me cover the Stone Avatar. So Stone Avatar has a Psionic Blast, which is single target damage at 10-second cooldown, and also a AoE Storm at 10-second cooldown. However, when you get into the Kaldur, the Stone Avatar, it has a separate cooldown. So he can cast each ability once while he has no hero inside of it, and then he can cast again with a hero inside of it. So with optimal micros of Stone Avatar, you want to go into a cast, leave out of it, let it cast, and sit in other units, and once the cooldown for your hero inside Stone Avatar is up again, you want to get back into it and use your abilities. So here, I get into it and use the abilities. And due to the intelligence scaling, your hero inside Stone Avatar does quite a bit more damage than a regular Stone Avatar, so you want to be inside it to cast spells. The energy upgrade, I'm going to talk about the other upgrades here. The intelligence upgrade, which gives 10 intelligence, is quite expensive. 2,000 minerals and 20 gas. This upgrade is almost only good for when you're inside the Stone Avatar because intelligence does boost spell damage. And the only spell damage you have in your arsenal is the Stone Avatar. So unless I'm making an insane amount of Stone Avatar and my hero isn't a Stone Avatar a high majority of the game, or a high majority of the time, or if I have just infinite money late game, that's the only scenarios I would get this upgrade. It's quite expensive for how little it does. The strength upgrade is the other upgrade besides the agility upgrade I would get. These two are upgrades that make your hero a lot stronger. If I'm in a Kaldur and I get the strength upgrade, I think it gives me probably 1,000 to 2,000 more HP per Kaldur. And you also notice when I'm inside the Kaldur, because I give the strength value into the unit, I gain about 2,000 HP just from my strength alone. So 10 extra strength should be maybe 2,000 more HP. So the strength upgrade makes you quite a bit tankier, which is nice. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just waiting in here for a cooldown another storm. This storm should kill most of these roaches. And, oh, actually it does no damage. But one more storm should kill everything. And I'm making one more cut over here. Okay. So now that I have one more Kaldur, I can go back on a creep. And this is very annoying for the defender to deal with. Okay, so I just use my Stone Avatar to defend, and I keep making Kaldurs. I think soon I'll also make another Tal'Darim building, because this Kaldur is a tank, but you still want DPS. So if you're solo pushing, Kaldur plus a bunch of Tal'Darims is the best way to solo push. Now I think a while ago, maybe like 6 months ago, the meta for champion was to mass Talus. However, I never liked doing that for pushing Warforce map control, because for map control, Talus are too expensive to spam and mass. They're 250 minerals and 2 gas, in my opinion, and not worth it. And for pushing, they're way too prone to AoE and being trapped, because they take up so much small area. Like, if you're against anyone like a Fagor or a Niadra or a Kerrigan here, or a Fagor, they can AoE the Talus down, and it's very hard to react and pull back them to avoid the AoE. So Mass Tal'Darim is always the best unit composition, in my opinion, for champion. And if you're able to afford it, one Kaldur plus a lot of Tal'Darims, maybe with a Stone Avatar, if you're able to micro it, is probably the peak composition for a champion. Okay. So here I'm just wasting time. I don't think any of my teammates have any units on the map right now, but me being here is very annoying for him. He has to pay attention to me, and he has to deal with me. So pretty much, I'm just trading my HP bar for his attention, which is generally pretty worth it, because I have a lot of HP.
Upgrade complete.
Okay. So here I think I got the Strength upgrade. Oh, I forgot to talk about the other upgrades. So the Centurion leg upgrade. This upgrade it's pretty cheap. It's very gas costly. I generally only get this upgrade if I'm massing Centurions to push around the map. So if I'm making like 20 plus Centurions, I might consider getting this upgrade, but it really doesn't do that much. It's pretty useless, because you're never going to be inside a Centurion past the first 5 minutes of the game. And you will never get this early in the game anyways, because it doesn't do anything. Okay. Next is the movement speed and damage of Talus. Now, because I said earlier I don't use Talus unless my hero's inside of it, the only reason I would get these two upgrades is once I'm level 8. Once you're level 8, you unlock the ability on the Talus to gain 200% bonus damage on the Talus for a short amount of time, and that is insane damage. So if you combo that with a 50% bonus damage, you shred the Kerrigan. So that's the only scenario where I would consider getting this upgrade. And there's movement speed as well. Now, if you're very poor and you cannot go into Tal'Darim, and you are barely able to survive in the late game, I think staying at Talus and getting this upgrade so you can run away from the other hunter is a fine strategy. The next two upgrades are the Tal'Darim upgrades. If you're massing Tal'Darim, like let's say you have 15 plus Tal'Darim 15 plus Tal'Darims, I think then it is worth it to get these two upgrades to boost the power of Tal'Darims. Now, all of these upgrades are boosting the unit as well as when your hero inside of it. The stats upgrades in the first row only boost the units when your hero's inside of it. So that's a key difference. However, the thing with champion is that most of the time, where most of your damage and most of your tankiness is coming from when your hero is inside of the unit. So getting those upgrades, prioritizing those is way more important. Okay, let me keep playing. And lastly, this is a Stone Avatar upgrade. I would only get this when you're in a basing situation, a late game basing situation, and you have a lot of Stone Avatars. That's when I would get this upgrade. Okay, let's keep playing. So here I go on creep with the Kaldur again, then I keep pushing. Keep annoying the Zerg. Okay. And I make a second one behind me just in case the first one runs out. I'm pretty much just making a chain of Kaldurs, because if I have enough Kaldurs, I have infinite HP bar. I'm pretty much just buying, using minerals to buy HP, and the enemy Zerg cannot kill my Kaldurs that fast. Okay. So here, this Kaldur is gonna die, so I go into the new one, and it's very depressing for a Zerg to see a new, fresh HP Kaldur in your face, especially when other people are pushing different sides of creep, like these stalkers are doing stuff, while he's forced to chase my Kaldur. And you also do meaningful damage, 200 damage per hit at around 4 attacks per second. That means that almost 1.2k DPS on the Zerg hero. So if I'm able to hit the enemy hero, it is very efficient. You can also go chase a hunter with Kaldur. If he is dumb, he will attack the Kaldur and trade with you. But most of the time, the hunter will just run away from you, which loses value. So at this 27 point in the game, I have now hit level 8. This is the biggest power spike for champion. And now I'm going to try to go into the Talus and Tal'Darim and try to get hero damage. Because now I unlock the OP abilities to increase my damage of the Todrian or Talus by 200% or 500% respectively, and start doing damage and pressuring the Zerg. Here you notice I'm still on 1 attack. I think it's not worth it to go to 2 attack. I rarely get 2 attack, and I always get 2 attack after the stats upgrades here, unless I'm massing units. So in this game, I'm doing what's called the RPG playstyle, where I focus mostly on my hero, and that's why I got the 2 stat upgrades. In a different game, especially in a lot more pubs, where let's say I'm able to get to plus 100 untouched, or like touched a few times, and I'm massing Todorines to attack the Zerg or to mini base. In that scenario, I would invest in 2 armor, 2 attack, and then the Todorine upgrades. So, and then maybe not get stab upgrades, because most of your damage in that case is going to be the Todorines where your hero is not inside of it. So always use that as a metric to decide what upgrades you get. Okay, so once I get level 8, I think I should be making more production buildings for a Todorine. So here I have 1 more Caldor to swap into. Okay. No. Alright, let's see what happens next. TP's out here, so I just keep attacking with my Caldor. And this 1 HP Caldor, I'm just leaving it outside to attack other stuff while it's healing, which is very nice. Okay, now that the Gar is forced to TP away and deal with my teammates, I'm able to run directly mid. I have 10k HP here, so even if he TPs on top of me, it's impossible that he will kill me. And this is what I've been trying to do all along. Against a bad defender, I would have been able to do this a long time ago, but because he is 3k MMR, he pressured me pretty well, and now I finally have the chance to go in. I sniped a layer. I snipe. I actually run around here because I'm scared, which I don't even need to be. I can just keep it. I can kill these buildings here, I think. But I run out here and go back into it. I swap into the Stone Avatar briefly to cast abilities and then leave it. I should be okay. I just walked out with it, whatever. Yeah. So I'm just swapping between units, and being the Stone Avatar lets me shoot buildings from far away and do good damage, especially AoE. Here, the storm kills all of these things. And under this playstyle, you just want to keep swapping units and keep using the abilities on every single unit in this stage of the game. Okay. So, I get a new Caldor here. And now he's already losing control. Other things are pushing. My Caldor is pushing over here. And I have a new Caldor here. Okay. Another thing I want to note is the Caldor is pretty much only good if your hero is inside of it. Because your hero stats double the damage and double the HP of the Caldor. So if your hero's not inside of it, it's pretty dumb unit. It's just 2,000 minerals and 10 gas for a meat shield that does a little damage. But if your hero is inside of it, it gives a lot more. Here, okay, the next thing I'm doing, I made a Chamber of Champions and a Hall of Heroes here. So this is the next phase of game once I'm level 8. Once I'm level 8, I can go inside the Caldor, or the Todorine, sorry, I'm getting mixed up. I click the shield ability and the engine overload ability to do the bonus damage, and I'm doing 1k damage per hit at around 3 hits per second, and that is a lot of meaningful damage. And now at this point, the Gar is scared to face me directly, so I can just push for free. At this point, the game is pretty much already over, unless he's able to deal with me. And here, I was watching the defenders comms back. He was very annoyed with me, so he told the Kerrigan to TP here and kill my eco here because it was already scanned. But at this point, it doesn't really matter if I lose my eco because I already have my level 8. At level 8, it only costs 250 minerals for a Talus, which does a lot of damage to the Kerrigan. At this point in the game, the most important resource for the Zerg army, or for the Zerg side, is their HP bar. And I am in a prime position to take that away from them and kill them. Okay. So here again, I have a new Caldor. I'm running into their base and killing all the tech structures. Yep. So he kills my eco here, unfortunately, which is not very good. And also, you can see what I was showing earlier. Because I have my army unit here, if he just 8 clicks the ground, he cannot focus my eco structure. So his lings are all attacking my Stone Avatar, which is saving my eco structure, which is very good. Okay. So now, at this point in the game, I'm probably not going to make eco again. I'm just going to use the resource I have and my hero and micro to kill the Zerg. Okay. So, I'm still pushing here. If the Gar ever comes here, I can just click my W ability and shoot him. 1k damage, he's forced to run away. 1k, 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 and then I kill his tech structure. And once the shield duration ends, I'm a lot squishier, because part of the reason the shield is so tanky is not only the shield, it's also the shield armor. So once the shield ends, I have to be pretty scared. Okay. So run off creep here. And now I can swap into the Talus. And swapping into Talus lets me do Ultra Glaive, gives 300 bonus damage, and Stim Package gives 250% bonus attack speed. So I'm getting a lot of bonus attack speed and a lot of bonus damage. So this Talus is going to be able to do almost 1k to 2k bonus DPS per second, and is probably the highest DPS single unit in the entire game, maybe except Kevin late game. Maybe Liberator too, but it's one of the highest single damage unit in the entire game. So I baited him off creep here, so I can use both my abilities at very long range and attack him. Now you are very squishy. The bad thing about being a Talus late game is you're so squishy that he can one tap you. So I know I can take around 2 hits here from the Gara, or maybe 5 hits from the Gara. So I make sure to watch my HP bar. 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hit, and once after 3 hits, I leave. I leave and make sure I don't die. Still, in those 3 hits, in those maybe 2 seconds, I did 7k damage to the Gara, and that is very worth it as long as you don't die. So here's where experience comes in, and I know I'm not gonna die within 4 hits, so I make sure to eject in time, and I go back into the Tartarian. Yep. The most OP part about Champion is being able to always going to refresh your HP bar and refresh your abilities. So after he dealt with that unit, I can go back into this full HP unit and keep fighting, which is very nice. Okay. So I think now the Kerrigan is coming for me because they're very annoyed at me. So I go into my Kaldor because this still has around 2k HP. But this only has 700 HP even though it looked tankier. And another thing to know is when your hero's inside that unit, it has no more collision, or you no longer get blocked by lings, so you can walk away. So I just walk away here. I know the Kerrigan's probably coming for me, so I'm kind of scared here. I'm pretty safe here still. Even though my Kaldor is low HP, my soul, once I exit, still has like around 800 HP, and I have a blink ability, so I'm pretty unkillable here. Pretty sure the Kerrigan's still chasing me here because he wants me. Yeah, he's still chasing me. Here I did a small vision trick. Because I knew no lings were attacking me. I'm not gonna go back and show it. The video's already super long. But I go right and try to avoid him. But I would not have died regardless here. So yeah, I just run off. I can block this with the wall real quick. And now at this point in the game, I have 5k minerals and I'm level 10. I do not need to make Eco again. Instead, I'm making a Talus or a Tal'Darim and going for damage on the enemy hero and ending the game. So here I make a Gateway. I think he gives up here probably, yeah. He sees me no longer, I run away, and he can't really kill me anymore. And he's forced to deal with my teammates who is rebasing top left. And I go for a Talus, and also go for Cybernetics Core to get the 2 Talus upgrades I was talking about earlier. Because those are very important for the late game. Yeah, I'm gonna... So I get the Talus, and even though it's pretty squishy, as long as the enemy hunter's not nearby, I can run around with it pretty safely. So I get both upgrades on the Talus. And here my goal is just to find the hunter. Finding defender is risky because the defender can kill your Talus in 4 attacks really quickly. But their enemy hunter's melee. So if I can find the enemy hunter, I can kill him very fast. Okay. So I'm just walking around the map. I think he TP left side. Yeah, he's left side right now. So I just run straight towards him. And go here. Here, I'm gonna show. So you want to be out of vision before you start the attack, because once you start the attack, he's gonna dash onto you and start killing you very fast, because you're very squishy. But you have long range once you activate this ability because it gives you a 5 range bonus. So here, I know he's gonna be forced to come to this high ground, so I just stand near the high ground. Oh, actually, I go down. But here, he's not preparing in time. Looking at his vision, blink. He doesn't know I'm here. So him walking up, suddenly I'm hitting him at 2k or maybe 3k DPS, and he's forced to react. And he actually reacts pretty quickly, but that is enough for him to leave, because he can never kill me from this point. See, right there, I exited the Talus really quickly, maybe even a bit early, and my soul is faster than his Kerrigan, and I have 10 armor, and I have another blink. So there's no way he kills me, and once he saw that, he knew the game was over, especially coming out to the top left base here. And yeah. So if we look at the results here, as the game ends, I have 749 gas, not very high, but my hero damage is by far the highest, because once I got level 8, I was able to impact the game by doing a lot of hero damage, and my feed is pretty low. If I were to look at the feed of the other players, I would generally estimate them to be probably higher than me. And the biggest thing is I was able to do this on very low mineral count compared to my allies. Even on only 60k minerals, I was able to do 23k damage and 900 gas contribution, and annoy the defender a lot and make him attack me a lot, while my teammates were able to push and do other things. I also made the hunter. I made them link ball me twice here, and made the hunter come here twice, and made the hunter come here twice. So in this pretty high level pre-made, I was able to do a lot of impact, even if I did not get a lot of gas. And this is a way to play RPG champion. Now, in a pub game where I'm mastering Tal'Darines, it might be slightly different, but in my opinion, this is the more interesting strategy on champion to do. And I hope this video has helped you a bit in understanding what I'm doing on champion and how you can micro units to get maximum effectiveness. And yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there. If you have any questions, please let me know. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you do well. Bye bye.